Welcome back to the Psychedelic Entrepreneur. Today, I'm going to talk about your business as a psychedelic integration coach. So these days, a lot of people want to become psychedelic integration coaches, or they're in a training program to teach them to become psychedelic integration coaches, or maybe they want to start integrating psychedelics into your coaching business or your healing business or microdosing coaching, whatever it is. Some kind of psychedelic coaching, psychedelic assisted coaching business. This is a big thing. It's growing very quickly. And I want to talk about how you can make this very successful and a missing piece that you might have in your business that might be keeping you from reaching more people, sharing your unique medicine, and making more money. So a lot of my clients come to me inside of one of my coaching programs, my mastermind program, my intensive program, my incubator or private coaching. And a lot of times they've started their integration coaching business or other form of coaching business, and they've only gotten a few clients, by luck, usually through their own psychedelic communities or medicine communities or within their own network. But then they get stuck and they want to know, how do I make more money and get more clients and grow my business? So I teach a very particular process inside of my programs that takes you through really understanding how to effectively communicate and attract in your exact ideal clients so that they want what it is that you offer and want to pay you and want to work with you. One of the areas that people really get tripped up, though, is about how to communicate directly to your ideal clients. There's a misconception, very big misconception out there, that if you become a coach, you will just make money and you will just get clients because people want psychedelic integration. The reality is a lot of people who do psychedelics actually don't think they need integration at all. So this is where the reality hits, right? So think about yourself even. How long did it take you to go hire an integration coach? Or have you even ever hired an integration coach? Who knows? For me, it took going on multiple dietas and working with medicine for a very, very, very long time to even think of reaching out to someone for help integrating those experiences. I just thought I needed healers and therapists and this and that. But after I realized one of my therapists didn't even know anything about the medicine that I was drinking, I realized there was a problem and I needed to find someone who really understood what I was going through. So this is one issue at the core, is that a lot of people who are working with medicines and psychedelics, they don't think of themselves as needing psychedelic integration. But if you ask them, why do you turn to psychedelics, or why are you on this healing path, or why are you going to ceremonies? They usually have an answer that's like, well, it's to heal this or help that or calm my anxiety or get my life in order or help me find my purpose, or it's the only thing that's helped with my depression, or it's helped me with my addiction, or whatever it is. There's usually a reason for them working with psychedelics, right? So this is the core of where you need to get to in your business with your communication. It's all about really understanding who exactly it is that you are here to serve the most and how to effectively communicate so that it attracts these clients in. So the way I teach around growing psychedelic integration coaching businesses or other similar psychedelic assisted coaching businesses is to really understand that you are not here to just serve everybody on the planet. There's 8 billion people on the planet. I know we want to reach everybody, but there's only so many people you can help. I mean, even the most famous coach on the planet, or even the Paul Stamets of the world, or Rick Doblins, famous people doing big things in psychedelics, there's still a huge amount of people that don't even know who they are, right? So you want to really feel into, who do you want to work with the most? Who are you called to help the most? What is it that they're going through? What's really at the core of their psychedelic use, or their desire to heal with psychedelics? Like, what's deeper than that? So the way I teach inside of my coaching programs, it's about really changing your whole perspective around what is psychedelic integration. Of course, we know what it is, but a lot of the people who've never actually gotten psychedelic integration don't really get it. They just hear this buzzword. It's kind of a buzzword going around. It's thankfully being talked about more than ever. But at the same time, they just say, oh, I'm fine. I'm integrated. I feel fine. I just did that ceremony and I feel fine like 3 days later. But then maybe, I don't know, their anxiety comes back 3 weeks later, or they get into a really bad fight with their partner and then their life starts crumbling, or they lose their job, or they really realize they hate their job and want to figure out what they're here to do next or find their purpose in life. Or maybe they have patterns reoccurring over and over and over that they just can't seem to break, whether it's, suffering from some sort of depression or anxiety or limiting beliefs or some kind of mindset issue, or maybe it's actual like destructive patterns or addictions or eating, anything like that, right? So there's always something else someone's struggling with. And that's usually what brings people to work with psychedelics in this way. So it's not about just focusing on like, hey, I'm an integration coach. I'm here to help you. Like, hire me, hire me, hire me. It's about really getting deeper than that. And I think of it almost as you kind of have to flip it over to a different way of thinking. So think of yourself as a life coach who understands psychedelics, or a health and wellness coach who understands psychedelics, or like me, I'm a business coach who works with psychedelics and is very called to help people on the psychedelic path. But do I talk about psychedelic integration all the time in my programs? No. What I do is I help people start and grow businesses and make money doing what they love. And it's the same thing with you as an integration coach. So it's not about just touting the integration piece. It's about speaking to layers below that, like what's really at the core of what's going on in their lives. And this is where, it's a process that I teach. It's not an overnight thing. It's steps that take some effort and some real deep, feeling into, and then also literally going out and speaking to people who represent your ideal clients. But you have to understand, what is it that you're called to do the most? It's not just the psychedelic integration. Like, what is it, if you could choose one particular kind of client and they're going through one particular struggle, what would that be? So if you're feeling called to help people with their health and wellness, okay, maybe that's it. And then you bring in the psychedelic piece. Or maybe you just know that you're here to help people heal their sexual trauma or sexual abuse, and then you bring in the psychedelic integration piece as well. So you need to get underneath just the fact that people are working with psychedelics and need integration, and go layers below that, like what's really at the core, and really feel into what lights you up the most. What are you excited to do the most? How do you want to help people? So being just an integration coach is great, but really the way you're going to grow your business is to really focus in on this, and I hate to use the word niche, like you don't have to choose a niche, but focus in on what makes you different. Like, what will make your integration coaching different than the, thousands of other integration coaches that are popping up every single day? So that's number one. And number two, then you have to learn how to communicate to your ideal client so that they want to hire you versus one of the thousands of other coaches, right? Like, what is it that you are saying and offering and presenting that will really light them up versus them just going to whoever's readily available, or whoever's cheaper, or whoever's the most popular on the internet. It's not a popularity contest. It really comes down to resonation. Like who do people resonate with more? Like you or one of the other many people? Like, I get it. I am a business coach and there are thousands of other business coaches, but the reason why my clients resonate and join my programs is because I'm speaking directly to them and they get it, and I get them and they get me. And I understand what is literally going on inside of their heads before they decide to join my programs. So this is the same thing for you. You have to get under the layers of just the psychedelic piece. What's really going on? Like, where do your ideal clients really need your help? And how are you going to learn how to communicate to them so that they actually start to see you and pay attention, and maybe they follow you, and maybe they read your emails, and maybe they, are like considering working with you one day. Maybe it's not now, but maybe it's one day. And the more you speak to them in their language with and address what's actually going on inside of them, then that's where the resonance happens. I always describe it as this. You are here doing what you feel lit up the most by, meaning you have to be in your inspiration to really want to grow this business big, right? Like you have to wake up out of bed and be so excited to get to work. So therefore, you have to focus on what makes you the most excited, like here. And then your ideal clients are over here. And they're suffering with some pains, and there's some things that they want. And here's your offer and here's the client, and they need help. And the only way to make money and grow this as a business is to meet them here in the middle. So it's not about, giving up what you want to do, and it's not about just doing what they want. And it's not just giving them this and then you not considering what you want. It's a middle place of you taking what you want to do the most and you learning how to speak their exact language so that it starts to attract them in. And that's how you start to build your own community, build your niche following, build your own fans that want to work with you now or maybe later. I mean, I have people signing up for my programs every day who have been following me for 2, 3, 4 years. And I'm like, hey, sometimes it takes people a few years to really want to work with you. Or maybe they have been working with psychedelics for a long time and then something happens and they finally think like, wow, I could use some integration help. And then they think of you first because you've already been speaking to them in their language for so long. So this process that I teach has you really understand what it is that's going on in them and understanding how to speak directly to them and how to message so that it attracts them. And once you have this foundational piece of your business, I teach this to my clients and all my programs. This is like the root chakra. You have to start at the foundation. This is like building a new house. You have to start with pouring a foundation. This process is the absolute foundation that you need in your business. And then everything you do on top of that builds up from there. So you want to post on social media, you want to post on Instagram, great. How are you going to know what to say if you don't understand exactly what's going on with your ideal clients? Because then you're just speaking what's going on in your head. And if you're only speaking your language and it doesn't resonate with your ideal clients, then that's where the disconnect is. Because you're over here saying one thing and they're over here thinking a different thing. But you have to actually meet them in that middle place so that they want to work with you. And then, this is what determines every post you write, every email you write, every workshop you'll deliver, even these integration circles. They're great. I kind of roll my eyes because they're popping up everywhere now. Like they're all over the place. And I think it's great. I know a lot of people need integration. I mean, we know this, but it's the same thing. What makes your integration circle different than the many other ones? And if you go on Eventbrite or Facebook or wherever, you could probably find a few integration circles going on right now this week. Just type it in, psychedelic integration, and you'll probably find a bunch of free ones. So this really has to come down to like, why are people going to go to your integration circle versus someone else's? It's the same process. You have to understand what makes you different. What do your ideal clients want and need, and how are you going to meet them in the middle with your messaging so that they want to attend your circles, so that they want to go to your workshops, so that they read your posts, so that they want to contact you and find out, about your offering, so that they end up paying you. And this is the one thing I find is missing in so many coaching and healing businesses everywhere. It's not just psychedelic integration. It's all over the place. But the one thing with psychedelic integration coaching or any form of psychedelic coaching, but I think the hardest one is the psychedelic integration coaching, is that, again, it's so new and people don't really understand why they need it. And a lot of people don't think they need it, so they just don't hire. And this is where the challenge is. And this is why it's really important to get this foundation in your business laid out now before you go do all the other things. So I can tell you right now, even if you go build a community or post on Instagram 20 times a day, in order to really start to attract people, you have to speak their language. So it really is having this clarity of what makes you different and understanding how to communicate so that they are ready to say yes. And I know, this is something I teach in all my programs, how to do workshops, how to build your own community. If you're going to do an integration circle, here's how you deliver it the right way so that people actually want to work with you. It's not about doing an integration circle so you make, $80 a week. I mean, that's not a real business. Neither is even a couple $100 from your integration circle. But it is about maybe getting some leads in from your integration circle and having them really resonate with what it is you're saying. And then they say, wow, I'm going to work with her one day, or wow, maybe I should book some, join her program or book some sessions or whatever it is. Sessions, by the way, that's a whole nother podcast episode I'll do on how to structure your business the right way so it actually makes you sustainable money. Please don't do single sessions. It's not a great business, but you can, but that's a whole nother conversation. But anyways, I just wanted to share this one important tip on communication and client attraction. And once you nail this in your business, this is how everything gets easier. But if you don't ever really fully do this in your business, it's going to be really hard to grow it and make money from it. Anyways, that's my one little tip for growing your psychedelic integration coaching business or any other kind of psychedelic business or coaching business or healing business. And I would love to know what it is you want to learn from me or what it is you want to hear. Please feel free to reach out. My email is right on the podcast episode website, and ask me any questions and I'd be happy to answer them here on this podcast. And if you're interested, feel free to take a look at my website. You can see any of my programs that are open up for enrollment so you can learn this too and build a foundation in your psychedelic business, because I really believe, as psychedelics grow, we need to have more of you and more coaches and more healers and more people working with the integration to make this, effective for humanity and the earth and society as a whole. So I'm really passionate about helping people turn this into a business so that their clients really, their ideal clients know that they have to work with you. This is really important for the future of the psychedelic renaissance. Thank you so much for being with me, and have a wonderful rest of your day.